Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and The Beard, the best television show not on TV. We got a great show tonight. This is our first Thursday night game featuring our New York Giants this season. I'm extremely hyped, extremely lit for this one, but the opponent kind of making me tame my expectations a little bit here. The Cowboys are taking on the Cardinals this week. My man Vot said this on his stream the other day. He said this is the kind of game, if you were playing it on Madden, you would just simulate right through it. I definitely feel him. The Cowboys should probably just steamroll the Arizona Cardinals this week. The Eagles are headed down south to take on the Tampa Baker Buccaneers, as my man The Beard would say one time. The Giants stayed on the left coast to take on the 49ers. Everybody is on the road this week except the Washington Commanders. They're welcoming the Bills to travel down here to FedEx Field to take on the Commanders one time. This going to be a jam-packed show. We got to get right to it. Shout out to the gang that showed up early. I seen all of y'all in the chat. I seen y'all had the stream open, man. Big salute to all of y'all. Without further ado, man, let me bring in the best co-host in the country, the strong side to the left side duo, my brother, your brother, Mr. Beard himself. What's going on, brother?
Listen, man, I'm hyped. It feels like football is just coming. There's not a lot of downtime. It's a lot of football time, and I love it. And speaking of time and things that I love, I have to give a big shout out, a big happy birthday to my mother-in-law. Shout out to you. Everybody in the chat, make sure you guys put in the chat, happy birthday to Miss Martinez.
Let's get those balloon emojis popping.
Thank you very much. Big shout out to you. Happy birthday. You guys enjoy all that cake without me. Josie, make sure you bring home a piece. I want to thank everybody in the chat for showing some love to her. I want to thank everybody who's watching us right now on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, right here, right now on YouTube. Big shout out to everybody. I'm ready to talk some football.
Big shout out to the gang. I don't know if I was hitting some 420 pack before the show start, but am I on the wrong side today?
You might be on the wrong side today.
I feel like I'm on the wrong side.
You're on the wrong side.
I feel like I'm on the wrong side, man. Let's get this right, man. Big shout out to the gang one time. We appreciate y'all pulling up, man. Look at that little swap. Even though it's the left side, this whole mirror StreamYard thing, I don't know what's going on here, man. It's wild, man. But big shout out to the gang in the chat, man. Let's get right to this one, man. I want to talk about a couple of games first here before we get off into the premier. We'll call them the premier matchups with the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants. But let's start this one off, man. I want to start off with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Arizona Cardinals one time. All right, y'all, let's get right to it, man. The 2-0 Cowboys are taking on the 0-2 Arizona Cardinals. The Cowboys are favored by 12 whole damn points. Good Lord. Kickoff is Sunday at 4:25 p.m. on Fox. The over-under is 43 in this one. Last meeting, the Cardinals actually won in 2022. They beat the Cowboys 25-22. The Cowboys lead this series 56 wins to 34 losses and 1 tie. Head coach Jonathan Gannon, he's now 0-2, man. Things are not looking good for him. They're tanking for Caleb Williams is what everybody said. We'll see how this season progresses. I saw some Instagram videos or some TikTok videos floating around from Kyler Murray showing that he was in the gym working out and whatnot. Best wishes to him. Hope he can get well. The Cardinals have won 4 of the last 5 in this series. Cowboys have outscored their opponents 70-10 in the last 2 games. We're not going to talk about who they played week 1 because we're just not going to go there. You already know what it is. The Cowboys defense has forced 7 turnovers in 2 games, 10 sacks now in 2 games. The big news came out, man. We saw it all on Twitter. Non-contact injury for Trayvon Diggs. He's going to be out for the season, man. You got Brandon Cooks coming into this game a little bit banged up. Beer, what's your thoughts on this Trayvon Diggs injury? You think they're going to be okay moving forward, or you think that's a detrimental piece that's going to set the Cowboys back?
I mean, I don't think it would set them back. I do think that they're obviously going to be missing a big playmaker. So you might see a little bit of a downtick in forced turnovers sort of situation. I think you're obviously going to have a lot more pressure on the front end of this Cowboys offense to kind of produce those sort of turnovers. So you're going to be looking at that. I think they're going to be okay. No matter what, it's a huge blow to a defense, a team that's like, you know, not necessarily relying on their defense, but the defense is definitely their strong point of their team. So it's going to be a blow no matter what. You know, even as a Commanders fan, nobody wants to see a guy like that, any person really, get hurt in this game, but it happens. It's unfortunate. You know, hopefully he comes back stronger than ever. You know what I'm saying? So definitely don't want to see it, especially with a guy like Trayvon Diggs, who's an exciting young player in the league. So, you know, they'll find a way to make it work. I mean, now that offseason signing of Gilmore just looks even
better,
more important, you know. So I think they'll find a way. It's definitely going to be next man up sort of situation. It's going to be heavy on Dan Quinn. He's going to have to figure out a way to make things work, and you know they'll be all right. I mean, it's a good thing they're going up against the Cardinals. I mean, the timing is like, you know, short end of the week here, so they're going to have to plug somebody in, get them caught up to speed. But you know that's what practice is for, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, man. Best wishes to the Cowboys fan. We're dealing with that Saquon injury and whatnot, but we know he's coming back. Same thing with Andrew Thomas and whatnot. To have one of your best players on your team go out like that, and he started off the year strong. He had an interception last week. It's unfortunate, and I had to block somebody on Twitter because they were like happy about it. I was like, bro, I don't care how long you've been following me for. You about to get blocked off that one right there. I looked, I'm like, oh, he's following me. Man, let me block this dude. But as far as the game goes, man, you know, I know a lot of people have been sleeping on the Cardinals, but they've had a couple of standout players here, man. Hollywood Brown, you know, through 2 games, he has 15 targets. He has 9 receptions, 82 yards and a touchdown. And I think offensively, you know, for the Cardinals, they're going to have to flow through James Conner. Defensively for the Cowboys, those are the 2 or 3 players I think you're going to have to stop, including Joshua Dobbs in that. James Conner coming off 23 rushes for 106 yards and 1 touchdown versus the New York Giants last week. And Dobbs, I wrote this in my notes. I said, Joshua Dobbs been all right with a couple of exclamation marks here, man. Like 89.1 passer rating. He has 360 passing yards through 2 games, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He's known as a bit of a mobile guy. He hasn't had that many rushing yards, but he did have the 23-yard touchdown run last week where he ran over Xavier McKinney. I was feeling some kind of way about that. And Zach Ertz, he was a problem for the New York Giants. In 2 straight games now, he has 6 receptions. He's got 12 on the season. And the matchup versus the Cowboys safeties, I think that's going to be a really good one. The Cowboys have some really good safeties back there. So that should be a better matchup, I feel like, than what we saw against the New York Giants for Zach Ertz. And I know you could speak to this one because Dennis Gardeck, he gave both our teams problems. He had the strip sack against your boy Sam Howell in that last game. 2 sacks in that game, actually, against Washington. He had 1 sack against the New York Giants and 4 tackles in each game. So he's a guy that I feel like at the beginning of the year, not a lot of people knew, but towards the end of the year or towards the beginning kind of middle here, a lot of people are starting to know his name. I think by the end of the season, he's going to be a standout player for sure. For the Cowboys, I think the one thing we got to look here is Tony Pollard being the number 1 back. Now, they had a pretty successful week last week, and I love how they committed to the run with the 25 carries against the Jets and whatnot. But he's averaging 3.6 yards per carry. That's down almost 1.5 yards since his last year, 5.0. He does have 2 touchdowns on the ground, and I like how they're utilizing him, but it just seems like they don't have another running back to really rely on there. Like, I like Deuce Vaughn, but I saw him get hit, and I'm like, man, dude's kind of small. Like, I'm not too sure how they're going to, progress with the rushing attack with them. But Mike McCarthy, he is committed. And, I'm going to let you talk about this player a little bit here because you definitely said to sit this guy on your bench last week. I always do this to the beard.
It in. I
always do this to the beard, right? He had a career day, 11 receptions for 143 yards last week. That tied a career high for him. Now, this the stat, the nugget that I think Cowboys fans, y'all need to take this one to Twitter and run with this one right here. CeeDee Lamb currently accounts for 55.3% of the Cowboys' receiving yards. Easily the highest in the NFL right now. The last time that one player accounted for 55% of a team's receiving yards was 1945. So if he can finish the year like that, it's going to be an incredible accomplishment for CeeDee Lamb. Now, I saw Micah Parsons did tweet a little bit, talking about Trayvon Diggs, like, hey, say less, bro. I got you. I got it from here. Micah Parsons has 2 or more sacks in 28.6% of his career games. That's the highest of any player in the history of the game. So I'm telling y'all, Giants fans, I know y'all holding on for dear life trying to say Micah Parsons don't look like Lawrence Taylor, but I don't know. It's early. My man's starting to look like LT a little bit here. He had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss last week, 4 quarterback hits, man. So what are your thoughts on this game? I tried to give him a bunch of nuggets right there, right off the bat. I gave you a good 20-piece, with some barbecue sauce on the side. If you want to mix it with the sweet and sour, that's my vibe right there. But how you feeling about the Cowboys, headed to Arizona to take on the Cardinals?
Well, look, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a, McFlurry to kind of round this whole thing out after the nuggets and the sauce mix here. Let's just continue doing what you've been doing, Dallas, okay? Don't underestimate Arizona. I think that's going to be the biggest key for them. I mean, typically this would be like what they call the trap game. It could potentially be a trap game. I think Arizona's been playing very tough. people are like, oh, well, they're tanking. I mean, listen, players don't tank. The team might have put them in position by cutting a bunch of players and trading a bunch of players, but these guys are going to go out and play tough. I think that defensive front, we've talked about it both weeks so far, because against Washington, against New York, the defensive front is their strong point on this Arizona team. So if they can get some pressure on Dak, then they might be able to make it a game. I think, Awthentik talks about it time and time again about how quick Dak gets rid of the ball. So
that's why I was shaking my head.
It's just, it's almost like it doesn't necessarily really matter. But if you can find a way to get some good press coverage where he can't get rid of the ball quick enough and find some pressure on the front, then there's an opportunity there. But just continue what you're doing if you're a Dallas fan, and you should be able to win this game. I have Dallas winning, believe it or not, guys.
Oh, really?
Listen,
against the Arizona Cardinals? Really?
This is
surprising.
2 games. This is 2 games in a row, Dallas fans, okay? 2 games in a row. I'm picking Dallas to win this game. It should be a fairly easy game. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving Arizona a little bit too much credit, but I got Dallas winning this game by a final score of 27-10.
27-10. I like that. Before I give you my score, we got Marjorie in the building one time giving us a little bit of breaking news. Taylor Rooks just reported on NFL on Prime that Saquon Barkley told her his right ankle sprain is, in fact, a high ankle sprain, and that not playing tonight was simply a pain tolerance issue. That is unfortunate. We know Saquon has bounced back from the high ankle sprain before pretty fast. I think it took him 4 or 5 weeks last time, which is like Logan Wolverine vibes, but that's not good news for New York Giants fans. You said 27-10?
27-10.
27-10. I like that score. You know it'll be wild? I'm going to pick that score. I'm going 27-10. Watch the Dallas Cowboys go out here on Sunday and win this game 27-10. I like that score. That's really good. And especially missing their corner.
Awesome.
That'll be awesome. We're going to look like the GOATs up here one time with that scores, right? You already know what it is, man. Marjorie, big shout out. I appreciate that, sending in that information. Let's fly through this. Let's get to the Eagles taking on the Bucs one time, and then we'll get y'all to these premier games. We're going to go Washington. We also got our trivia segment tonight. I don't know what the prize is. The Beard ain't talked to me about the prize yet. I got to tell you the answer to that real quick, too.
I know who it is.
Oh, you do know who it is.
I do know.
You was snooping.
Maybe. Little Snoop Doggy Dog.
All right, let's get to this Eagles matchup taking on the Tampa Baker Buccaneers one time. All right, man, the 2-0 Eagles taking on the surprising 2-0 Tampa Baker Buccaneers one time. Kickoff is Monday night at 7:15 p.m. The Eagles are favored by 6.5 in this one. The last meeting, the Bucs defeated the Eagles in the wild card round. That was when they were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now things have kind of changed over a little bit. Jalen Hurts was picked off twice in that game. The Bucs have played the Eagles 5 times in the playoffs. It's their most games against any opponent in the entire NFL. This is going to be a revenge game of sorts for Todd Bowles, who was the Eagles secondary coach in 2012 after being an interim head coach, I believe was for the Miami Dolphins in 2011. And remember, the Bucs got rid of Byron Leftwich as their offensive coordinator this past season. They brought in Dave Canales, gotta love that, from Seattle. And so far, it's paying dividends, man. That offense has looked good so far. A win would give the Bucs their first 3-0 start since 2005. And this Bucs defense has been much, much better this year. They have 7 different players who have compiled the Bucs 8 sacks through 2 games. And I got to spotlight one player here, rookie nickel cornerback Christian Izien. Already has 2 interceptions. He's just the 4th undrafted player in NFL history to record an interception in each of his first 2 games. Pretty slow start for the Eagles here, even though they are 2-0. They allowed Kirk Cousins to dice them up last week. That was on Thursday night. Kirk Cousins was 31 of 44 for 364 whole yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had the 1 strip sack that he lost the ball on. That was about the only blemish on his game. The Eagles have the 28th ranked red zone defense in the entire league. We know they got to clean that up. I know you're going to talk about that secondary. And the Eagles are allowing teams to convert on 75% of their red zone trips. Now, I know it's a small sample size here, but the Bucs are probably the perfect team to go up against to try to improve those numbers. The Bucs' red zone offense is ranked 30th in the NFL right now. They're converting on just 33% of their red zone attempts. So, Beard, before we get off into talking about my man Baker Mayfield, a little bit of Mike Evans, I got some nuggets for y'all. How you feeling about this matchup one time?
I think it's going going to be an interesting matchup, a lot closer than I think probably people had anticipated, especially before this season started. Both of these teams have a very, very good run defense. They're actually the top 2 run defenses in the National Football League. Both of them are only allowing under 60 yards per game on the ground.
Small sample size. What was we saying last year? Small sample size or the large portion of the small sample? Something crazy, but it's 2 games. I feel you. I like that nugget, though.
It is 2 games. And so, the turnover battle, I think, is going to be key here. Tampa Bay is number 2 in the NFL, small sample size, in turnover differential at +5. But Philly is number 3 in the league in turnover differential at +4. So it's going to be interesting to see who can, force the turnovers here and win the turnover battle in this game, because I think this game is actually going to be pretty close. I mean, we always talk about Philadelphia's run game. They're the number 2 running attack in the National Football League, averaging 188 yards per game.
Small
so it's like
size of the large.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously DeAndre Swift.
It's week 2. We can at least talk about it, right?
We went for 175 last week. So the thing is that there's a lot of guys on that team that can carry the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles. So you might be able to stop one guy, but can you stop all of them? We're going to really see how good that Tampa Bay run defense is. And then last but certainly not least, I mean, we can't talk about Tampa Bay without talking about, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the National Football League, Mike Evans.
Yes.
I mean, all the guy does is go for 1,000 yards
Some Giants fans were telling me,
year.
I heard they want to trade him. No, I don't want Mike Evans on this team. He's a little too old. And
Get out of here. Mike Evans is a guy that you can always count on, okay? You can always count on Mike Evans. And shout out to Baker Mayfield, because I think, I pretty much feel like I could speak for both of us on this, that we've never really been anti-Baker guys.
Definitely not. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And listen, we love a gamer. And Baker's a gamer, but Baker's a gamer, and he's playing the game pretty damn well. So, listen, we're going to need Baker, and we're going to need Mike Evans to have a huge game here. You're going to go up against that Philadelphia secondary. That pass defense is the second worst in the National Football League right now, allowing 326 yards through the air per game through the first 2 games. So, can Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield take advantage of that Eagles defense that's kind of still working some things out, had some injuries in the secondary? That's going to be where the key is in this game.
Yeah, you talk about the 326 yards through the air per game and whatnot. That's to Mac Jones and to Kirk Cousins, who are, considered, I'd say, B- level kind of quarterbacks. This matchup, man, Mike Evans, man, I'm just like, dog, how do you keep doing this? 10th year in the league, how do you keep doing this? Right now, he's got 237 receiving yards. That's 5th in the NFL right now. He has a touchdown in both of the games this year. He leads the Bucs with 12 receptions. And I can't go without talking about this other player, too, because it's not just Mike Evans. Chris Godwin been playing well under the radar as well. Chris Godwin has an active streak of 16 straight games right now with at least 5 receptions, which is – that reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are those kind of numbers. Now, speaking on Baker Mayfield, we definitely did not write Baker Mayfield off. Last year, was that last year or the year before? I think that was last year. When he came in, he popped up with the LA Rams, barely had any time in practice.
Ride.
2-3 days. He's learning the playbook on the plane ride. He goes over there on a primetime game and wins in incredible fashion with a beautiful, beautiful fade route on the left side of the field. And I never gave up on Baker. And this number is really reminding me of Geno Smith, okay? Entering Geno Smith's first year with the Seattle Seahawks when he became the starter last year, right? He had a passer rating of 104. And I remember having a conversation online with a bunch of people like, they were telling me that the Seattle Seahawks are tanking, right? Same kind of narrative that was going on about the Bucs here, right? And I said, look at Geno Smith's 4 games that he filled in for Russell Wilson last year. He had a passer rating of 104. That's not bad, right?
Nope.
Very accurate. He's always been at the top of the league as far as completion percentage goes as a starter now in Seattle. This is 2 straight years he's been up there, right? Baker Mayfield to me is kind of the same kind of story here that we might be able to see with the Bucs. The Bucs have been a team that the weapons are there. The defense is kind of there. They got pieces. I don't know why people wrote them off, but Baker Mayfield, he has a passer rating this year of 104.4. 0 turnovers in 2 starts.
Yep.
And the flex that he did on that little DB, I talked about this on the show last time. Like literally told the DB, like, bro, you got to get in the weight room after throwing him off him on a run to the sideline. Gamer. I love that kind of stuff. Now he's going up against a tough task here. It's going to be a tall task going up against this Eagles front. You got Josh Sweat. You got Jalen Carter now, who's emerging. They both got 1.5 sacks on the season so far in 2 games. So I do think this is probably going to be Baker's biggest test of the season so far.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick the score here. I'm going to surprise y'all on this one. I'm taking the Bucs. They're at home. They've been playing great. The defense has been able to stop the run. They know the task they have to defeat with the Philadelphia Eagles here on the outside with Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. You start to see a little bit of turmoil on the sideline there when their offense is not clicking quite the way they want to. I think there's going to be an obvious kind of game plan from the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to try to commit to the run. It's not going to surprise me if they win, but I just got this feeling. Prime time, Baker trying to make a name for himself in front of the whole world. I'm going with the Bucs in this one, in a close one. I'm taking the Bucs 28-27.
Interesting. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay to cover the -5. Okay,
You set me up with that one. I'm going to take Tampa Bay.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay to cover the 5 points. I do think Philadelphia wins this game. I would not be surprised if Tampa Bay won, though. So that's kind of why I'm doubling down on that sort of vibe, and I'm taking Tampa Bay plus the 5. But I think Philadelphia eventually wins this game by a final score of 24-23.
Okay, I think you're one up in the standings as far as our picks. I think last week, I forget who I picked wrong in the NFC East. There was one I picked wrong and one you picked right. So I think you're a game up. We got to start keeping track of that. So you got the Eagles, you got the Bucs covering, though. I'm definitely taking the Bucs in this one. I'm Team Baker. I'm Team Baker. I want to see Baker Mayfield go out here and kind of reclaim his name. I posted a tweet just today, actually. I said, name me a quarterback that got done more dirty than Baker Mayfield. Because, man, the way that they just, pushed him up out of Cleveland for Deshaun Watson, who now is struggling.
Yeah. And they didn't just push him out for Deshaun Watson. I mean, they damn near gave Deshaun Watson the key to the city, damn near the whole state. I mean, and all of it's guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken.
$200 million.
Man, they better figure something out over there in Cleveland. But you know who's always figuring something out? Our guy, Nick the Wick, with the $5 super chat, says, don't know if y'all heard. Shane Lemieux starting in left guard. Told y'all, Glow don't want to play. His body is banged up.
Yep, Nick the Wick was the source that I told y'all about when I said that Glowinski says he kind of want to be more of a mentor. I told y'all that on the last show. Shout out to Nick the Wick one time. Shane Lemieux getting the start. Okay, this is going to be an interesting offensive line tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing Azidu at left tackle again. I was talking about this in the spaces with the homies. If Azidu has another good game at left tackle, I don't know if you can continue to keep him on the bench when Andrew Thomas comes back. I might have to find a way to move Evan Neal around a little bit. We're going to see. Before we get off into your game, let's go ahead and go right to this trivia section one time, man. Somebody's going to – what's the prize tonight? I haven't even seen the prize. We got a prize? What we doing here?
Oh, we got a prize, man. We definitely have a prize.
Okay,
so – big shout out to our guy, Vintage Sports Flips, on YouTube, on Instagram. You can find the link to his stuff where you guys want to shop. All of that is in the description of this video. He's actually not here. He might be here, but his son's
I saw him in the chat earlier.
His son's band is playing the national anthem tonight at the Phillies game. So shout out to them. Shout out to him. He gave us some super sick stuff to be given away during the season. So, all right. For the Giants, so Giants and Redskins have a little bit of, Giants and Commanders have a little bit of, it's because I'm looking at the memorabilia.
Right.
If you're a Giants fan and you win tonight's trivia, you're going to get this super dope miniature vintage pennant. And with it, you're also going to get a nice little pin to go with the pennant.
Let me get that.
Right? So you're going to get both of those. And don't worry, Commanders fans. We got a nice little vintage Redskins pennant and a Super Bowl pin to go with that as well. And if you're a Cowboys fan or an Eagles fan, we got some pennants for you guys too.
Ooh, that's
super sick Eagles pennant and a super sick Cowboys pennant. So shout out to Vintage Sports Flips for the gear, for the giveaway. And let me just quickly go over the rules. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Authentic in the Beard.
The rules need a background vibe. They need a back. Yeah. He was like, hold on.
Here we go.
All right, Beard. Go ahead and get in your bag one time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Authentic in the Beard Trivia Night. So we are going to present you all with a trivia question. And the winner of that trivia question will be able to select a prize of their choice. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, it might look a little bit different than what you see and what we see. So due to internet connection possibility lags, it's going to be who we see in our chat first. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, get those fingers ready for trivia night.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. All right, y'all. Today's trivia question. We're doing good on time, too. I like that. We're doing good on time. Today's trivia question is a good one. NFC East related. Get your thinking cap on. Here we go, y'all. Who is the first NFC East quarterback to win a Super Bowl MVP? Don't forget, Super Bowl MVP.
Let's see who it is. Big shout out to Vintage Sports Flips, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys are following them on YouTube, Instagram, and if you guys want to find some cool stuff for your favorite sports team, all you have to do is check out that link in the description, and you will find out who the winner is.
Ooh, tell me who you saw. I see it.
I see it too. Let me just, scroll up really quick just to make sure I'm not tripping. Okay.
We got a winner early. On that one.
This guy's not unfamiliar to. Yep. All right. There we go.
Yeah, you taking kind of long. I was like, yeah. All right. Who is the first NFC East quarterback to win a Super Bowl MVP? In 1972, Roger Staubach became the first NFC East quarterback to win a Super Bowl MVP. My man, I wish y'all could see his feet, the way he was throwing the ball. Quarterback mechanics back then were just on a whole different level, yo. Shout out to the homie Lax one time. This might be Lax's second time winning a trivia.
I was going to say, he's won a few times before, so big shout out to our guy Lax.
Hey, my man.
I already know which one you're selecting, so congratulations. You're going to take home this super sick Giants vintage mini pennant and this New York Giants pen to go with it. So congratulations, my friend. Winner.
Chicken dinner. My man Lax. Shout out my guy Lucas in the building one time, man. What's going on,
Checking
fam?
in from Australia.
Yes, sir. All right, so I wanted to show y'all something real quick, and Beard, I got this. I can get you on this one. My man Doug McCrae, who does a podcast, we were featured on his podcast earlier this season. Real dope show, real cool dude. Hit me up, asked me to make him an intro for his show. So being that we're about to go dive into the Washington Commanders segment here, welcoming the Buffalo Bills, I figured what a time to plug him and show y'all the intro we created for him. So check this out, and we'll be back with the preview for the Washington and the Bills game.
Everything we need is in this room. We've got to work together to make whether it be the team that we can beat. Stop it, throw it. We come to practice, we practice hard. We take the people, we be optimistic, and we gonna win games, bro.
Shout out the homie Doug one time, man. He was loving that, man. Definitely a vibe. I produced a beat on that one too, man. Let's get right to it, man. Talk about these Bills headed to FedEx Field to take on the Commanders. The Buffalo Bills are surprising 1-1 after losing to Zach Attack and them Jets week 1, but they definitely bounced back in week 2. Washington is 2-0. This game is Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. The Bills are favored by 6.5. The last meeting, the Bills beat Washington 43-21, and that's a high-scoring game right there. That was in 2021. Washington is 2-0 for the first time since 2011. The Commanders have not started 3-0 since 2005. Beard, who was the coach?
Joe Gibbs,
my
2.0.
2.0. Ready to go. We need to send you a pennant one time, man. The Bills have won 7 of the past 8 meetings versus Washington. The Bills' first trip to FedEx since 2015. This is a revenge game, sort of, for my man Sean McDermott. He spent 6 years as Ron Rivera's defensive coordinator in Carolina before becoming the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott, this is his 100th game as the head coach for the Buffalo Bills, and I think Dak Prescott is playing his 100th game as well. Big key injury here. The Bills safety, Micah Hyde, he did not practice on Wednesday after aggravating his hamstring. Man, them hamstrings been lingering this year. If he doesn't get the start, it's going to be DeMar Hamlin who will make his season debut if Hyde can't play. I want to talk about this offense real quick, just a little bit. And let's pull up my man Sam Howell's numbers from last week. He was 27 of 29 for 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers, 64.1 QBR. Sam Howell is ready for his 4th NFL start. Since 2019, the Bills are 18-2 when facing a quarterback with 16 or fewer career starts. So that does not yield well for you and your Commanders. Howell had a nice outing last week for sure, man. Y'all see the numbers on the screen there one time. He set a career high with those 27 completions as well versus the Denver Broncos. Now, Brian Robinson also had a career day. He had 129 yards from scrimmage, but the Bills defense, man, they just held Josh Jacobs to 9 rushes for -2 yards. And trust me, I was extremely angry about that because Josh Jacobs is my RB1 on my fantasy team. My fantasy team has gone to shits this year. I don't know what's going on here. You guys got to get it together, man. Josh Jacobs, my man Justin Fields, a few others, DJ Moore. Who else? Oh, my man Dalvin Cook. What are you doing?
What happened to the trade?
It's not working out. It's not working out. People, pump fake and play action. I'm like, come on, bro. Speaking of the other quarterback here, Josh Allen. My man is 20-1 in games where he throws for at least 3 touchdowns, and that's like a half a nugget right there. This is the real nugget right here. He's 23-4 in games where he does not commit a turnover. If I'm Josh Allen's coach, I'm focusing on not turning the ball over. He plays pretty reckless, likes to run the ball, likes to not slide, you know what I mean? Kind of like my man Dak Prescott did here on this past game where he kind of got upended by that defender near the goal line. But last week versus the Raiders, he put up his 2nd best completion percentage of his career, 87.7%. Allen leads the NFL right now in completion percentage, right behind my man Brock Purdy. Which is those 2 quarterbacks leading the league right now in completion percentage. I know it's a small sample size or a large sample size or the small sample size, whatever we called it, right? But still, it's very surprising with how reckless Josh Allen plays. Now, I want to talk about the red zone a little bit for the Bills here. The Bills scored 5 touchdowns on 7 trips inside the Raiders' 20 last week. So they were very, very efficient in the red zone. This is going to be a bit of a different task here. We know the Commanders got a great defense over there. I think y'all weakness is at linebacker because y'all really don't have linebackers the way y'all been playing y'all defense as of late. So I do think Dawson Knox could have a pretty big game. The rookie tight end as well. It's my man Dalton Kincaid. I think he could also have a pretty good game as well. We'll see. But what's your thoughts on this game?
Listen, you talked about the Josh Allen numbers, how he is when he doesn't turn the ball over. But so far, he's got 5 turnovers this year. So I think that's definitely going to be a something that we're going to have to key in on. And, the defensive front of ours getting to Josh Allen is something that we should be able to do, and hopefully we do. I mean, we're tied with
I like that.
We're tied with Dallas. Best in the NFL. I mean, there's a lot of Washington-Dallas defensive
Can y'all hear the tone
categories.
of his voice? Can you hear the tone of his voice? He's kind of trying to insinuate that his defense is good as y'all defense. Y'all hear it, right?
So we are tied with Dallas for first in the NFL right now with 10 sacks. So there's definitely going to need some pressure to be applied here to Josh Allen in this game. That's going to be very, very important. He was obviously sacked 7 times in the first 2 games. So, that offensive line hasn't really been helping Josh Allen as far as the protection goes. But offensively, there's going to be some interesting things. Like, I think a lot of these teams are going to be coming at Sam Howell with the blitz, right? Because of our offensive line, and obviously because, he's a young quarterback, generally that's what happens.
Holds the ball a little long.
Exactly. But Buffalo has the lowest blitz percentage of any team in the NFL at 11.8%. So
Okay.
They might have to be trying to do something that they don't normally do, or they just don't blitz him that much, which kind of opens up the door for Sam Howell in this offense. So that's something I'm really going to be keeping my eye out for.
You're banking on the Bills getting their pressure through the blitz, not getting the pressure with their guys up front. You think they're going to have to bring the blitz to get that pressure?
Well, I mean, not necessarily that they're going to have to bring the blitz to bring the pressure, but I just think that it's the blitzes that have been giving Washington the biggest trouble.
Gotcha.
So I think that if they're not blitzing as much, it gives us a little bit of time. And I remember in the beginning of the year, I was talking about how they said that Washington was going to score the least amount of points of any team in the National Football League.
Yeah, they did say that.
Averaging I think it was either 16 or 18 points per
16.
game.
They said 16. It was 18 last year for y'all.
I just want to let everybody know, right now, according to
28.
this spiral notebook right here, we're averaging 27.5 points, which is 7th best in the National Football League. So that's something that's going to be, I'm going to be tracking, obviously, throughout the entire year. But one thing
that we
No. This might just keep going up. You never know. Number one might be in our sights. But one thing that Washington has been struggling on offensively, which is going to be very important in this game, and they're going to need to do better in order to win this game, is third down conversions offensively. We know about how good we're doing on the defense. Nobody's converted more than third downs in a game for 10 straight games now?
10? Ooh, maybe it was 10.
I think it's 10.
It was 4 or 5. Might be 10, though. You might be right
it's
on
10.
that.
We're going all the way back to week 11 last year, so I'm pretty sure we're at 10 games. But offensively, we are really bad on third down. We are currently 28th in the National Football League on converting third downs, only converting 31.8% of our third downs. So it's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to be able to improve on, which is I feel like we've been improving in every aspect, which is why my roadmap was a little bit, cruise control last week. I just kind of wanted to see some improvement from week 1 into week 2. So I feel like, there's some room for improvement. I don't want to just say it's all, sunshine and rainbows and people
Unicorns
dancing
and
around.
rainbows.
Yeah, unicorns. That's what it is.
Sunshine's good too, though. I like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there is some things obviously that I have to point out, or else I wouldn't be a real YouTube analyst. So
I like that.
So that's something I'm going to keep my eye out on this game. Obviously, we have a roadmap to get to, which was
for sure. And right before we get to that roadmap, I want to talk about the Bills real quick. Just having more weapons. Like when I look at the Bills team, right, it's really just Stephon Diggs, right? They got some okay players. They got Gabe Davis. They got Dawson Knox, right? They got Dalton Kincaid. But when you got a guy like James Cook coming off his best performance, I think that helps Josh Allen much more. And Josh Allen don't got to play hero ball, which is what I don't want to see Daniel Jones doing tonight. James Cook coming off 17 rushes for 126 yards. That's the most by a Bills running back since
Thurman Thomas?
Shady McCoy.
He doesn't count.
2017, he put up 156. You best believe it counts. But I will say this, he be saying some wild stuff on that Speak show. They wild. I don't know if you've been seeing my tweets. I've been kind of taking some jabs at him.
I always see authentic tweets. It's like half of my notifications on my phone are authentic tweets. It's interesting you bring that up, though, about James Cook, because as a whole, the Buffalo offense, rushing the ball, they're 7th best in the National Football League. They're averaging 140 yards per game.
And that performance has a lot to do with it, I'm sure, and also having a mobile quarterback. Now, other thing I want to talk about, and then we'll get to this roadmap, is defensively for the Commanders, and I want to highlight 2 players, one for the Commanders, one for the Bills. There's only 2 players in the whole entire NFL right now that got more sacks than Montez Sweat.
He's a guy. Always been a guy.
He's
got
a guy.
the receipts. Got the receipts.
He's a guy.
CVS receipts stats of me having to defend him.
Get rid of him. Remember how we did LeVar Arrington? Like, we could do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a different time here.
It's a different time.
DC,
but Montez Sweat definitely balling out. And then Matt Milano, man, at linebacker for the Bills, man, he has an interception in 3 straight games dating back to last season. So I think that matchup with him versus y'all offense, don't let him get another interception. Don't let him keep that streak going active. But we'll see, man. Let's get to this roadmap, see where the beard going to be taking us. We're going to switch seats kind of like we did at the beginning of the show and whatnot. And let's see how the beard's roadmap to victory, sponsored by Waze, is going to go. All right, Beard. You got 7 minutes for this roadmap.
Oh, don't worry. This is going to be an easy trip. I'm just going to reach right in the pouch that's in the back of the driver's seat. Some of you guys, it might be a little bit too old for you. I don't think they have those anymore.
Where we going, Dad?
We used to have those big maps in the pouch in the back of the driver's seat. So I'm pulling it out, and I'm taking us on a little road trip.
2 steps away. You ain't even mentioned like the MapQuest vibes. You went all the way back to that road map, the real
all the
road
way.
map.
Listen, we're gonna go old school. There's a lot of old school in this roadmap. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a station wagon with wood grain on the side.
Remember the brown station wagon we used to have back? That's what this is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta win the running game. I need the Washington Commanders, because it might be raining here in DC on Sunday. I'm gonna need the Washington Commanders to go over that 100-yard mark and hold that Buffalo offense. Hold James Cook to below 100 yards rushing in this game.
Just James Cook or the whole team as a unit? Whole team. Okay. Because
Under
last
100.
week, man, you was pulling some maneuvers on me, man.
Oh, listen, I'm giving you double ones here. So not only does Washington have to win the running game total, they have to go for more than 100. Buffalo has to go for less than 100, okay?
Got you.
We got to win the turnover game. We talked about how the Josh Allen turnovers are key to Buffalo winning. The turnovers that Washington is forcing has been key to us winning. So I'm going to need the Washington Commanders to have 0 turnovers themselves, but also force 2 turnovers. So win the turnover battle, have 0 yourself, and get 2 from Buffalo. That's where we're going to win the turnover battle. Okay, up next, we're going to win the sacks. Okay? We're going to win the sacks. Not only are we going to win the sacks, Washington's going to have 5 sacks against Josh Allen, and this offensive line against a team that doesn't blitz very often is only going to allow 2 sacks in this
2 sacks.
game.
Okay.
2 sacks in this game.
I like it.
And another thing, we've been a little sloppy. We've been a little, rough around the edges. I'm going to need you to go to the barber shop, Washington Commanders, get a shape up, be nice and clean, and we're going to have 4 or less penalties in this game. I don't want any.
I like that.
I need
That's accountability
4
right there.
or less penalties in this game. And last but certainly not least, getting in at the under 7-minute mark, speaking of time, we're going to need to win the time of possession in this game. Keep that Buffalo offense off of the field, which means stick to the script. RTDB. Run the damn ball. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the roadmap to victory for the Washington Commanders.
Love it. Love it. A lot of accountability this week. Last week, you was finessing.
Listen, I had to, it's baby steps all the way, all the way to 10 wins.
It's baby steps. You want me to get my score on this one first?
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to me.
I didn't think about that till just now. That's me trying to high time.
I can give you mine. I got mine written in ink.
I'm good under pressure. I got this. I'm good under pressure. I'm going Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills are going to win this one by a good touchdown or something. Let's go 31-24 Buffalo Bills.
Listen, I can't pick the Commanders to lose until they actually lose. That's just my rule, right? That's my rule.
Last year for the Giants, man.
I know.
Different times, man.
I understand, man. So I'm going to take the Washington Commanders to win this game by a final score of 23-17.
Good score. So we kind of in the same place as far as points for Washington. You just think the Bills probably going to score a little bit less.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's move right along. We're going to get y'all out of here at 8 o'clock because this is a Giants Thursday night game, okay? I cannot have y'all up here last minute not seeing kickoff, and I got to see kickoff myself. This is going to be a good one, man. We're going to talk about the New York Giants taking on the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football prime time.
Giants are on the board with 11:16 to go here in the third.
All right, man, this is the one I've been waiting for. This is the one the Commanders game was cool. I had a lot of fun with the roadmap, talking about y'all defense, all that good stuff, right? But this is the one I've been waiting for right here, man. The New York Giants 1-1 headed to San Fran to take on the 49ers who are 2-0 tonight. Kickoff is at 8:15 on Amazon Prime. Love Amazon Prime. Y'all don't got that good internet. I see y'all on Twitter complaining about Amazon Prime. That's y'all internet. The 49ers are favored by 10.5. Yikes. The series record is tied at 21-21. So this is going to be a tiebreaker here. This is going to be a good one here. Last meeting, the 49ers beat the Giants 36-9. I don't like what I'm seeing right there. In 2020, that game was in New York. San Francisco is seeking their first 3-0 start. They're seeking their third 3-0 start in the last 25 seasons. That was very surprising to me because you would think they started off 3-0 a bunch more, but they haven't. It's going to be their third one if they could get there. The 49ers have won 12 straight regular season games, 3 shy of a franchise record, and the 49ers have scored over 30 points in both of their first 2 games here. I want to talk about this offense a little bit because I think that's where it's going to start. A lot of people talking about Daniel Jones and the weight of the world of the 49ers being on his shoulders. Speaking of shoulders, I slept on my shoulder kind of wrong last night, man. I'm getting old, man. That 40 hitting a little different. I ain't even going to front. But we got to find a way to stop Brock Purdy and stop Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey leads the NFL right now in rushing with 268 yards, okay? He also has 268 yards through his first 2 games, which is the most since a former Dallas Cowboy. I know y'all wouldn't give this one, but it was DeMarco Murray who had 285 yards in 2014 in his first 2 games. CMC also has a touchdown in 11 straight games. A touchdown tonight would tie Jerry Rice for the 49ers franchise record. The NFL record is 15 straight. I was telling the Beard this off air. John Riggins and O.J. Simpson both had 15 straight games with a touchdown. Now, it's all about Purdy. Can Purdy look Purdy tonight? We don't know. But Brock has not thrown over 30 attempts yet this season. So I think that their plan is going to be to run the rock for the most part. They're going to try to do the play action, try to keep Brock Purdy pretty comfortable in this game. He's got the best completion percentage in the entire NFL. I said that already, but he also has the best completion percentage in the entire NFL on 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, this man is 14 of 17 for 188 yards. His completion percentage is 82.3. Brock Purdy has just 2 interceptions in his entire career. Now, shout out to the homie one time. Let me make sure I got his name here. It's at Bash Don't Push. This man was dropping straight gems in the spaces today. And my ears raise up like one of my cats when I hear somebody dropping gems like this, because when you get off in the spaces, bro, like a lot of times it just be like opinion pieces on like, I feel like this. I feel like I feel like this man came in dropping straight nuggets, okay? Brock Purdy has been pressured on 23 of his 45 dropbacks so far this season. That's 42% of his dropbacks. His completion percentage drops from 78% all the way down to 52% when he is pressured. The New York Giants don't got a sack on the whole entire season. We got to get after Brock Purdy today. That is a must. Now, on throws under 20 yards, he's got an 83% completion percentage. On throws over 20 yards, it dips in half. He's got a 41% completion percentage. Again, big shout out to the homie at Bash Don't Push. This is my first time hearing him speak in the spaces. My man no ball. He was dropping gems. You could tell he got the computer up, typing PFF, all of that stuff. He had it all. Now, when it comes to pocket time, Brock Purdy is only averaging 2.2 seconds in the pocket. That's less than Daniel Jones. And that's not a knock on his offensive line, even though, left tackle is solidified. The Beard know all about that. Yeah. When you go from left guard all the way to right tackle, it's not quite as, high of talent. And I think with Brock Purdy here, 2.2, that's just getting rid of the ball fast. Jones is at 2.4. Now, another thing I noticed about Brock, right? A lot of people might say, oh, but he got, Brandon Ayuk over there who's going to be out for this game is what it looks like. Debo Samuel over there. They're like, oh, these guys probably getting major yak over there, right? Brock Purdy, as far as all quarterbacks in the NFL, he's ranked 29th as far as his wide receivers getting yak. He's only had 147 yards of yak. Insane to me. That's insane. Now, before I toss this off to my Giants, let me know what you're thinking about this game a little bit. I don't want to, buy the 2 boxes of 20-piece nuggets and just be over here just dipping. You look up, it's 4 nuggets left. Well, I don't want to do that. My girl wouldn't appreciate that. So, Beard, how you feeling?
I mean, the way you just broke that down, I feel like it would only be right for me to just say, do you smell what the Brock is cooking?
What the Brock is cooking. Ooh, I like that.
Listen, if you guys want to win this game, there is one thing, maybe one thing. Like you talked about the pressure. And what after you get the pressure, right? Don't even let him complete the pass. I need the Giants to just be swiping like you outside at a cookout in the summertime and the bugs is getting all over the hamburgers and the hot dogs and you just like this. You got to keep swiping it.
We got to get after the ball, huh?
Yeah, he's got 3 fumbles so far this year. Okay,
how many lost?
1 lost. Okay, 1 lost. All right, but listen. Get after that ball. That might be an opportunity for you guys to kind of, at least switch the field over. Because I'm not saying that it's being unrealistic to just be like, hey, Giants, go out here and score 30 points. Hold the 49ers to 14. Like,
I've seen some people talking like that on Twitter. I'm like, that's what y'all think going to happen tonight? I'm not going to rule it out. But.
Yeah, we can't rule anything out. It's the NFL. Right. You never know from week to week.
We did just come back from 21 points last week. You guys were down 21-3. Y'all came back last week in the same week. Anything could happen in the NFL.
Ask Kevin Garnett. He'll tell you. Anything is possible, okay?
Facts.
So this is the thing, though. The turnovers are going to be very interesting. Obviously, the New York Giants are tied for second worst in turnover differential at -4. And then you got San Francisco 49ers who are 4th best at +3. So that's a 7-point differential as far as the turnovers go. So you're going to have to find a way to flip that, win the turnover battle. That'll be key for the New York Football Giants. And listen, You might not have Saquon Barkley, right? You may be going up against the third best rushing defense in the National Football League with the San Francisco 49ers only allowing 65 yards per game on the ground. But that does not mean that you don't run the damn ball. I don't care if you got to get a ball to all three of the running backs on your team, but just find a way to
Paris
at least
Campbell.
hold on to the ball for a little bit. Work some things, and that will help you, obviously. And then the Giants are going to have to try and stop that run. They're giving up 136.5 yards per game, 26 in the National Football League through 2 weeks. But you know who's going to be the game changer if the New York Giants want to win this game? It's going to be Darren Waller. Darren Waller is going to have to be a running back in the middle of the field. Listen, he can do it. You got to find holes in this San Francisco defense. Darren Waller should have 8 targets in this game at least. At least 8 targets in this game. And for me, it's going to take a lot, but hopefully the New York Giants can build off of that momentum of the comeback win. It's going to be tough without Saquon Barkley. You guys are still dealing with injuries, obviously, on the offensive line. But listen, it's the NFL. We're all dealing with something one way or another. You got to find a way to get through it and win the game.
You really do, man. And this is a juggernaut matchup, man. You're just hoping that the 49ers could come out and, be a little flat. Like Brock Purdy may be off his rocker a little bit. Brock Purdy's the kind of guy that when he sets his feet, he can make all the throws, man. Deep down the field has been his issue, but outside of that, the kid is very accurate. He anticipates throws in a major way, and he has the weapons, and I want to talk about Deebo Samuel, who's been pretty quiet so far this year, but he did have 6 catches for 63 yards and 5 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown last week. It was his first I was just like, what in the hell? It's his first regular season game with at least 100 yards from scrimmage since week 4 versus the Rams last season. He did it 8 times in 2021. So I don't know what's going on with their offense with Deebo. I remember Deebo saying he didn't want to carry the ball as much a year ago. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely going to be an increase in touches for Deebo Samuel tonight. Now, I want to talk about our offense a little bit, too. In 2 games, I talked about this. The Giants have 9 3-and-outs. It's the 6th most in the NFL right now. We got to find a way to sustain drives. The 3-and-outs, got to throw that out. Balled up, throw it out. Daniel Jones, we know about the primetime record, 1-10. But what we didn't know is it's the worst primetime record of all quarterbacks since 1970. So when people talk about Kirk Cousins in the primetime, just remember, you got to remember Daniel Jones has not been good in primetime either, along with the New York Giants. Without Saquon Barkley, which is going to be the case tonight, he has 16 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. So some of his worst games have came without Saquon Barkley on the field. He's also winless as a double-digit underdog in his career. He's 0-7. And tonight the 49ers are favored by 10.5. The Giants also, I looked this one up and I was like, man, this is a stat we got to fix real fast. Last year, y'all know we dealt with a lot of drops, and 2 of our wide receivers from last year are on the Kansas City Chiefs. One of them is dropping the ball like crazy, and the Kansas City Chiefs lead the league right now in drop passes, but the New York Giants are 5th. With all that weapon upgrading, we still have the 5th most drops in the NFL. It's a small sample size of the large sample size. It's only 4 so far, but that is 5th most in the NFL right now. Daniel Jones is aiming for his 3rd straight road start with 300 yards passing. Don't forget about the Detroit game last year. We ended up taking an L in that game, and then this game against the Cardinals as well. And now we're trying to get our 3rd straight. Now, defensively for the 49ers, the 49ers defense, I've been giving the Dallas Cowboys big props, right? The 49ers defense has been incredible stopping the run. 30 straight games. They have not allowed a running back to go over 70 yards rushing. 30 straight games. That might be a supersized nugget right there. McDonald's, if you listen,
that's like the 3 nuggets, kind of, fusion nugget, where you're like, I don't know if this is counting as 1 or counting as 3. I got to make sure I count the rest of the nuggets in the box to determine what that count is.
We got 20 there. But 30 straight games without allowing a rusher over 70 yards. And San Francisco, the one thing that surprised me a little bit, too, is they only generated 1 sack last week. So they aren't getting after the quarterback in a major way. That was from Fred Warner. Jones has been sacked 10 times, but you saw it in the Cardinals game in the second half. When Jones got time, the dude looked like a totally different quarterback. He was out there wheeling and dealing against the Cardinals. 49ers are obviously not the Cardinals, but the back end of their defense is not like that impressive. I do think that we'll be able to slice them up if Daniel Jones can get the time. Now, another thing I want to see from the Giants here, and I am trying to beat the clock here. I got 2 more minutes, is when we get down there in the red zone, I know they're trying to limit Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams snaps, but there's no way you can take them off the field when teams get close to the red zone. All 3 scores from the Arizona Cardinals last week happened without Lawrence and Williams on the field. That can't happen this week. The Giants are the 5th team in the Super Bowl era to have 0 sacks and 0 takeaways in the first 2 games. So we are in bad company here, okay? My keys to victory here, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here. 1, you got to make Brock Purdy uncomfortable. Daniel Jones, just be you. I've said this a few times last year. Just be you. Don't play hero ball. And the 0 sacks through 2 games, we need pressure. We got to fix that. And last but not least, got to make this shit ugly. This got to be one of them ugly games.
Yeah. We'll fight.
This ain't going to be finesse. This got to be a brawl. Go out there, punch somebody in the mouth, make some plays, force some turnovers, make some hits, present some fear in the eyes of the San Francisco 49ers. And I think the Giants could come out here with a victory. I got to stick to my script, though. When we did our predictions throughout the year, I predicted this game as being one that the New York Giants were going to lose. And I didn't even think we were going to be missing Saquon Barkley, Andrew Thomas, all of these players, Azeez Ojulari. We're just missing people left and right. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to take the 49ers in this one. I think they'll beat us by about 2 scores. I think they're going to cover the 10.5. I'm going to go 31-13 San Francisco 49ers.
Listen, I love you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know that. But there's absolutely not a chance in hell I can pick the New York Giants to win this game tonight. But listen, I would not be surprised. Thursday Night Football, a lot of wonky stuff happens. If they can I love how you ended it too with the ugly, dirty. If the Giants can get inside that sort of game, that is 1,000% the best chance they have of winning this game. But I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to win by a final score of 24-13.
I like that a lot better than my score. I hope you're right. Because 24-13 will give me a little bit of hope going into next week. We're going to be taking on the Seattle Seahawks on Monday night. And if they don't put up a good fight here against the 49ers, my hope against the Seahawks is going to fall pretty flat here. Brother L's in the building one time, too, man. Shout out Brother L, man. He said game plan. Don't count Dable out. That's a fact, man. Definitely not counting the New York Giants out on this one. I think we got a shot. Every team's got a shot. If you look at the way the Rams played the 49ers, I think the Giants could put up a similar kind of a game like that. You know, although the Rams have some new young weapons that are out there shining right now. But shout out Brother L one time in the building. I see a lot of people's scores look very similar. And we 1 minute away from 8 o'clock. The Beard, salute on the time, bro. We did that right there. We did that,
man. When the Giants are playing on Thursday night, there are no games played. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there are no games played.
Big facts, man. Any last words before we get the folks up out of here?
Nothing. Just listen, go out. And I want to point out to one thing Awthentik said on Twitter today, and there was shout out to Stan for putting the clip together, but have fun. Okay, it's tough. I know when your team's not doing well.
You just said Stan, and he just texted me. That's so crazy.
It's tough, but listen, don't forget to have fun. You know what I'm saying?
This text.
It's a long season, all right? Long season. Don't forget to have fun. You know, hopefully our teams can all win every week. I mean, it is the NFC Beast, but enjoy tonight's game, you know. And, yeah, that's it. Don't forget to comment back Sunday morning, 11 o'clock a.m. for the parlay here at Awthentik and the Beard.
Most definitely. And if y'all can hit that like button on your way out, man, that'll definitely help us get this stream out there on the algorithm and whatnot, get some more eyes on what we're doing over here, man. I think we got something special with Awthentik and the Beard. Y'all know how we end every show over here, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams. Tonight, we need to live one of our dreams as New York Giants fans, and hopefully, we can get this win. Big shout out to the podcast GOAT, my man Combat Jack one time. Rest in peace. Y'all be good. Enjoy this game. Go Giants. Y'all know what it is, even if the San Francisco 49ers win this game.
Spike don't care.
Be good, man. We'll catch y'all on Sunday morning. Peace.